Hey, Crosstown, good morning. It's great to be with you this morning as we look and continue in our devotionals to the book of Mark. We're going to be looking at Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through 34. One of those passages in which God gives us the greatest commandment in which we are to follow and obey in our lives on a daily basis. And so we want to look through this. We're going to read through this passage, and then we're going to talk about what it means to obey the greatest commandment that God ever gave us. Again, starting in verse 28. One of the scribes came and heard them arguing, and recognizing that he had answered them well, he asked, "What commandment is the foremost of all?" And Jesus answered, "The foremost is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other command greater than these." The scribe said to him, "Right, teacher, you have truly stated that he is one, and there is no one else besides him. And to love him with all of our heart, with all of our understanding, and with all of our strength, and to love one's neighbor as themselves or himself, is much more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices." And then Jesus saw that he had answered intelligently. He said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And after that, no one would venture to ask him any more questions. I love that last verse. You got to that point where like, I'm not asking a question, man. He gave us everything we needed in that answer to the greatest commandment. And I want to talk about that real quick because as we think about our life, so many times we can compartmentalize our life in the different areas that make up our life, whether it be our careers, our family, our entertainment, our church, spiritual life. And we can go probably on it depending on how many things are that make up who you are, and the schedule gets filled with all these things. Yeah. In this passage, Jesus says, here's the greatest command. And we understand the commands are not something that God says, well, it'd be good if you would obey this. He's like, this is what you're to do. This is, if you love me, as John, in the book of John says, if you love me, you obey my commandments. In that, God's saying, do this, obey this. And so many times we look at it because we've compartmentalized our life that, yeah, my relationship with God is good. I come to church, I get involved, I'm serving, I'm in a small group, I love the sermons, I love the songs, this is great. I spend time with God in the mornings most days. Man, I love God. But we leave God in that box. And then we go to work and we're dealing with the things at work, the stresses, the frustrations, the overwhelming, pressures that are there and feel like, well, I can handle that. This is what my responsibilities are. And then we go home and we have all of that dynamic and relational stress that comes from having a spouse or children or extended family that you're dealing with and feel like, all right, well, this is just normal. This is family. And they're just crazy. And all of a sudden we start doing things and we compartmentalize them and structure it in a way and say, well, this is good. I love God because look, I go to church. I'm involved. And God says here, that you are to love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength. Not just as you're at church, not just because you're doing things in the church, but because you love him, he's going to be part of everything. Because if you don't, you understand that the frustrations of each of those other compartments, work, family, entertainment, whatever else is in your life, the frustrations of those are going to start to bubble up. And they're going to overflow into other compartments. And so pretty soon, before you even know it, you're coming to church saying, I'm going to love God. I want to be who he wants me to be. And the frustrations of other parts of your life are going to come in and somebody's going to say something, do something that you didn't like. Next thing you know, that frustration starts to build even within that box that you say is your relationship with God. I love God and God knows I love him. But yet God says, I want to be part of everything. I want you to love me in every area of your life. Let me help you get through the frustrations of your job, your family, all the other things. Let me give you the equipping, the encouragement, the patience that's needed to get through these things. And that's what happens when we say to God, I love you with all of my life. Everything that's I am, I want to love you. I want to obey you. I want you to be part of these things every single day. So people, as you live today, as you go about your life and you're dealing with the things, invite and allow God to engage in your life. Show him that you love him by obeying this command and saying, God, give me the strength. Give me the intelligence. Give me the will, the wisdom. Give me the endurance to face the things that I will face today and do it because I love you. And in doing that, we will be able to love our neighbor. Those people that you sometimes get frustrated with the most, you'll be able to love them as Christ loves you. Church, have a great day. And remember, love God in everything you do.